Hello everyone, it's Officer Murphy and Roscoe, part 2 of History on a Horse. Just horsing around the downtown area today. We're in mid-February 2026. A couple weeks back there was a lot of news reports locally on the blizzard of 77 which shut down this region. Massive amount of snow in a short period of time combined with high winds resulted in blizzard-like conditions that shut down Rochester and the surrounding areas. The mounted unit hadn't been formed at that point in time, as in the last video we discussed that the mounted unit hadn't been officially started until spring of 1977. But in February of 1978, another blizzard had hit the region, dropping 2 feet of snow, again with high winds, that shut down downtown Rochester. The onset was very, very quick and resulted in a significant amount of people stranded in the area. That particular day, Gary Sikoria and George DeWitt were working a 2 to 10 shift, handling calls for service on horseback in the East End area. Roughly about 6-7 o'clock, a 911 call was received that a school bus full of children from the city school district were stranded on the inner loop in the area of Monroe Avenue. The bus had been stranded for about 3 hours, stuck in the snow, and was running low on fuel, and the students need to be rescued. Gary Sikoria and George DeWitt went over on horseback and assisted in getting those students off the bus and transported from that scene with the assistance of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. A short time later, St. Mary's Hospital had called 911 to request assistance with transporting needed blood from a blood bank on Prince Street over to St. Mary's Hospital, as there was a motorist who was involved in an accident on 490 that was in need of surgery. That surgery cannot be completed unless the blood that they received from the Prince Street blood bank was delivered to St. Mary's Hospital. The Highland car that had responded over to grab that blood had become stuck in the snow. George DeWitt, being only a few blocks away, recognized the need and responded with his horse over to the area. Met the Highland car, and with the staff from the blood bank was able to pack the blood in his coat in order to keep it usable and to keep it warm for the miles-long trek he was going to take from Prince Street all the way over to St. Mary's Hospital. Having no other cars available, George DeWitt began trotting his horse from Prince Street all the way down, eventually making it to East Main and Stone Street, to where he was met with Gary Sikoria, and Gary and George continued to trot, as time was of the essence, all the way down East Main Street to West Main Street, all the way to St. Mary's Hospital. Once they made it to St. Mary's Hospital, they were greeted by medical staff, and the surgery was a success. Just another example of the Rochester Police Mounted Unit participating in historical events throughout the city of Rochester. I just think about that as I'm riding down Main Street, how difficult of a trek that would have been via horseback, trying to get much needed blood to the hospital in order to save a life. When thinking about it, recognizing that an event like that took place well before cell phones, that school bus was communicating with their dispatcher via two-way radio. Just thinking about how challenging that would have been as an individual, let alone as an emergency services provider, as a law enforcement officer within the city. So I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. Just another example of the mounted unit in the city of Rochester. We're going to continue doing this. Not just history involving the mounted unit and the police department, but we're going to try to highlight some of the historical events and historical areas within the city dating back to its initial formation. It's necessary to understand where we come from as a community in order to effectively police and provide the services needed to the community that we serve.